Hello. So there were 2 secret levels in Demoncrawl. They are responsible for giving you 2 different artifacts which appear at the end of the list, those being Coral, coming from Reef, and Poppy, coming from Wonder. The way you get them is by playing through the regular game in any game mode that would give you access to either the Fungus level or the Ocean level. The easiest way I've found, the most consistent way, is to play through for Fungus another way, because it's just one of the levels, and likewise for Ocean is one of the levels in Glory Days. You can find these levels inside of the Endless Multiverse, and I believe you could possibly find them inside of a Hero Trial, but I don't know how the substitution rules work in Hero Trials. I don't know if a level is Fungus, it will always be Fungus. But the ruling seems to be, at least according to research on the Steam forums, that one of the secret levels will replace one of the regular levels at a rate of roughly 1 in 20. It's not likely, it's not common, but it can happen. So I'm going to go through the easiest way I found to get into these, just a handful of little tricks, and then hopefully you can get in there for yourself. So, the first thing you want to do, I find, go into your codex, and preferably, if you look, I've set some... I've reset my favourites. That's really useful. I would personally favourite the key and unfavourite any of the consumables along here that won't help you. Any of the cheap ones. I would hold on to Miracle Seed. That's worth keeping, though not necessarily favouriting. I'd hold on to Smoke Bomb. All of the rest of them, you can unfavourite items, which I believe gives them a lesser chance of popping up. So if I were to go in and say, I don't like Paragon Rod anymore, well, now it's unfavourited. That kind of thing. So what you're really aiming to do is to get a key. So if I pop into another way, Fungus I know is around here. So if I go into a level, I want to open chests and gather coins until I reach 8 coins, which is roughly a time and a half the cost of the key. Now you want to do this on hard mode so you actually get artifacts, because artifacts are basically the only reason you'd actually want to play the secret levels. Otherwise, a secret level is functionally identical to its regular counterpart, just with a different background, different level text, and different sign text. But otherwise the power level seems to be the same, the enemies are the same, it's just a different skin effectively, but it will give you different artifacts, and going into the secret levels is the only way to get those 2 artifacts. So if you obtain enough cash to be able to afford a time and a half the cost of the key, because hard mode increases the cost of your items when you're buying from the shops, or if you find a key from a chest, you can just unlock the level that is likely to be Fungus. And I find that's the quickest way to do it, is to get the key and then unlock, I'd say this one here, because odds are this is either going to be Fungus or it's going to be the shop before Fungus. And if it is the shop, then you can just complete the shop by going in and coming out, and then you can see what the level is. If you don't get the key, that's fine, you can continue to play through the levels as normal until you get to around about here. The important thing to remember is that the actual image in the level select for Wonder and for Reef are actually significantly different to Fungus and Ocean. So you don't actually have to complete the level preceding the secret level to tell whether or not you've actually got lucky and generated a secret level. You can see a level before, which saves you, on another way, potentially 2 or 3 minutes, but you're going to have to do this a lot. Saving time is really good. You don't want to have to waste time by going into a level, completing it, getting all the way over here. So you don't need to actually get to the level to tell if it's a secret level. Entering the level doesn't change what the level is. It will always be the level that was generated at the start of the run. Likewise, if you smoke bomb out of Wonder and go back in, it will still be Wonder. It will never change. That's not at the point at which the game decides what the level is going to be. The other thing to do is if you go into Quest 1, Reef is, I believe it's somewhere around here. So similar sort of thing, key, unlock these, if you unlock this one, see what you've got. It doesn't matter as much in Glory Days because the levels have fewer monsters. In Glory Days, the levels just solve faster. So there are two things to consider with that. If you're playing through another way, chances are you're going to have a harder time getting to fungus, but once you get there, because the level will be larger, I find you've got more chance of generating artifacts. That may not actually be true, that was just my personal experience. But it will take longer to get there. You'll probably get a reasonable amount of XP along the way though, because you have to replay some harder levels. Glory Days, you're going to get there quickly, but the reef is actually quite a small level, and you're not as likely to get coral, I found. So there are other items that can help you with this. I took a magic smoke bomb in my heirloom slot, because once I found out that the level is actually a secret level variant, pop your magic smoke bomb, stick it in your inventory. It will give you at least one replay of the secret level, although if it's Wonder, you'll probably get about as many replays as you'd like, because there will be enough numbered cells in there to generate enough mana to keep using the smoke bomb, provided you don't have any other magic items. Otherwise, the regular smoke bomb is useful for that kind of thing, because you can just pop out of the level and replay it. You're not aiming to complete the level, mind you, you're aiming to generate as many artifacts by replaying the level multiple times. But other useful things are tarot card. So if you go into the reef or go into the Wonder, open all the chests to make sure that you've got all the artifacts you could possibly get out of them, pick up any artifacts. Don't pick up any of the loot though, and then use the tarot card, re-roll all the loot, you might get some more artifacts. I got to coral that way last night. Miracle Seed, before you enter the level, makes it bigger, generates more loot. That's the kind of thing you want to be considering. I chose to unfavourite the cheap items on the consumables end of my codex because it gave them a lesser chance of showing up. So more chance of getting keys, more chance of getting miracle seeds, less chance of getting things like sleeping powder, because I did not care about pausing my timer, about getting more XP from sort of level speed rewards, that kind of thing. So yeah, that is how you unlock the secret levels, or it's how you get to them. Once you have the artifacts, I would recommend going into Beyond mode, selecting one of the artifacts in your first slot, and then going with probably Tornado Alley is the easiest way to do this, which the whole gist of Tornado Alley is you replay one level at least 3 times because of smoke bombs. That will give you a good chance of generating yet more artifacts. You can effectively farm for artifacts that way, unless you get incredibly unlucky and after 3 plays of the first level you generate 0 artifacts. It's possible, it is very possible, so bear that in mind, because once you lose one of these artifacts, one of these 2 bad boys here, it's going to be really hard to get another one, because they don't show up very often. So just bear that in mind. Oh, the unlocks for these, if you haven't checked the wiki, this unlocks Divine Miracle Seed, this unlocks Divine Demon Seed. This one's probably better than this one, depending on how much you like Demon Seed and its variant. So yeah, just to say that that is how you get to the secret levels. I have seen it done myself, I've performed I've done it. It definitely works. The levels are definitely unlocked by just going into Fungus or Ocean and just replaying them until you get there, really, until you get what you want. Cheers.